Today on the Trent Out Loud show. Hey, Nelly Furtado, I don't care what they're saying about you, man. You are still and forever my girl. Are y'all really excited that KFC is bringing back wedges? Those things are nasty. Oh, Aunt Edwards, how happy I am to talk about you again, my brother. Ayesha Howard is coming for $500,000 and an apology, and I have her back. What up? It's Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, depending on what time zone you're in, it's Monday night or Tuesday morning. And what do I tell y'all every Tuesday morning? Let's just all rejoice and be happy we made it through Monday. All right, y'all, I have a great show set up for you guys today. I have two lead stories. We're going to kick it off by talking about Alicia Keys divorcing Swizz Beatz because he allegedly fathered a child outside of their marriage. And Donald J. Trump is planning to take over NYC and Chicago. In quick news, we're going to talk Nelly Furtado, finesse 2 times, Ari Lennox, UFC, Aja Wilson, Superman, SSSniperWolf, Drake, KFC, Ayesha Howard, and Aunt Edwards. As always, we're going to close out this show with social discussion and question of the day. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, your radio, your devices up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. Our first lead story. Alicia Keys reportedly considering divorcing husband Swizz Beatz amid claims of infidelity involving a child. Rumors are swirling that Alicia Keys may be preparing to divorce her husband, music producer Swizz Beatz, following claims that he fathered a child outside of their marriage. The speculation intensified after a court-ordered paternity test allegedly confirmed the child's parentage. The couple, who recently marked their 15-year anniversary, has faced past issues, including early accusations that Alicia was involved with Swizz Beatz while he was still married to his ex-wife. All right, I have been hesitant to touch this story. I have been hearing about it for the past couple of days, and you guys called me out in the comment section yesterday. I saw a couple of you guys saying, hey, how come we're not talking about Alicia Keys and Swizzy? Now, as you all know, I've talked about this before. Alicia and I go back. I found this picture in my phone while I was preparing for this story. I think I've showed you guys this picture before. That's how far back we go. Look how young I am. This is when Alicia was just starting out. I think this is when she was on tour with, I don't remember. She was opening for somebody or somebody was opening for her. Anyways, yeah, so this is a little bit of a touchy subject for me. Look, I don't have a lot of situations that I don't like talking about. Being on this podcast, it's the entertainment industry, and I have people who I am close with in the entertainment industry, and I don't shy away from stories. But this one is close, and Swizz and Alicia has had a good and bad relationship. Let's just leave it at that. I do know that there is some truth to this story, but I don't want to confirm or deny anything. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to look like I'm running from the story, but I am going to say you will hear more about this story, and there's some things that are not true about it, and there's some things that are true. The sad thing is that they do have 2 kids together. And Alicia has done some stuff in the marriage that wasn't the best, and Swizzy has done some bad things. Let's see if they could work things out amicably. But from what I've been able to, or what I feel comfortable telling you guys is that you will hear more about the story in the future. All right, let's just leave it at that. Shout out to Alicia. Our second lead story. Donald Trump says he may take control of New York, Chicago, and other cities just like DC. Donald Trump suggests that he could take federal control over major cities like New York and Chicago, similar to his move in Washington, D.C., where he has deployed the National Guard and took over the city's police force. Speaking at a press conference, Trump criticized these cities for issues like crime, warning that if local leaders do not clean things up, he may step in with the same approach. Here is President Donald J. Trump. Take a listen.
We have other cities also that are bad, very bad. You look at Chicago, how bad it is. You look at Los Angeles, how bad it is. We have other cities that are very bad. New York has a problem. And then you have, of course, Baltimore and Oakland. We don't even mention that anymore. They're so far gone. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to lose our cities over this. And this will go further. We're starting very strongly with D.C., and we're going to clean it up real quick. But then I'm going to look at New York in a little while. Let's do this. Let's do this together. Let's see. It's going to go pretty quickly. And if we need to, we're going to do the same thing in Chicago, which is a disaster. So we have a mayor there who's totally incompetent.
Now, this story has been building up a little bit of momentum about DC and cleaning up the area. And I actually have a cousin that was just at my dad's party that I had over the summer. I was speaking to him. I have some cousins out there and some other content creators. And it's kind of a little bit of mixed reaction what's happening in DC right now. There is a problem, but they don't necessarily want Donald Trump to come in and have the National Guard and, do sweeping things, right? Like, you kind of want the problems to be handled in a diplomatic way and clean the place up in an organized way and make sure that nobody is affected. And we all know Donald Trump's method is just one sweep and just, doesn't matter the casualty. So that's why I wanted to just take my time before I spoke about this. Now, with him saying that I'll look at other cities, I'll look at New York, I'll look at Chicago, I'll look this, I just disagree with with those statements. And it's almost seeming kind of like communism, where it's like, I am the president, I rule, and I'm going to control all cities. There's orders here, Mr. President. And, it's the United States of America, and that's what they have governors for, and that's what they have mayors for. So I disagree with Donald Trump's approach. However, there's still issues in these cities that need addressing, but it can't just be one man, one voice, one command, and sweep with a magic eraser and everything is gone. That's not how you clean up and fix issues. So I hope this doesn't end off bad in Washington and then he carries this off, but remains to be seen. Y'all know when Donald Trump gets focused on something, he gets it done. So we'll look out for this and I'll let you guys know what happens. All right, this brings us to quick news. Ring my bell. Our first quick story. Nelly Furtado had heads turning with her leggy look during her performance at the Broadcasters Festival in UK on Saturday. The I'm Like a Bird singer showed off her curves in metallic ruffled hot pants and a green halter top with embellished knee-high boots. All right, look, let's not call out the obvious. A lot of people haven't seen Nelly Furtado look like this almost ever, but y'all know me. I'm always about empowering women and never body shaming. I like all shapes and sizes. Shout out to Nelly Furtado. I think you look hot. Keep rocking the boots. Keep rocking the looks. And for those of you who don't know, I'm very good friends with Nelly Furtado's manager. Shout out to Chris Smith, 21 Entertainment. Chris actually was one of the first people in Toronto to give me a start. I used to intern there, and then I opened up a management company with one of his head managers, Tyler. So anyways, shout out to Nelly Furtado. You look great any size you are, man. A Canadian icon. Shout out to Nelly Furtado. Our second quick story. Finesse 2Times mother says he spent $4 million on friends, travel, and jewelry, and not his family. Take a listen.
You spent $4 million on bitches. Flying motherfuckers back and forth. That's what you spent your money on. Jewelry. You ain't spend it on family.
All right. Now, we all have heard stories like this where families call out rappers and like, hey, he got big and left us in the hood. He got, or she got big and did this or whatever. And it's always a delicate balance, right? When somebody becomes successful, there's always going to be somebody that wants handouts, and you have to walk a tightrope of, taking care of yourself, your finances, your business, and giving back and taking care of your family. So I always try to stay out of the cousins and brothers and sisters and whatever. When your mama gets online and starts calling you out, you did something wrong. You could not have your mother saying these kind of things about you, man. Finesse 2 times. Take care of your mama, yo. Our third quick story. Ari Lennox addresses backlash over her comments on Martin's jokes about Pam. After facing backlash for saying she didn't like how Martin often joked on Pam in the hit comedy series, Ari Lennox is clarifying her comments. She says she loves the show and the cast and meant no ill intent. Ari added that while she's never been a fan of roasting, she understands its comedic value. In her original remarks last month, she shared that as a Black woman, it pained her to see Pam constantly ridiculed. Here is Ari Lennox addressing backlash or backtracking. Y'all decide.
If I had ill intent, I would have came on here with a PowerPoint presentation that backs my claims on the types of jokes, and I meant no harm to them. Jokes was wild, and I don't say any of this with any desire to rewrite history. Those actors and actresses are legends, and I meant no harm to them.
Okay, it's never good when you release a statement addressing backlash and it sounds like your publicist wrote it to the T. Try to have some compassion, Ari. And I love Ari, by the way. And what I'll say to this is almost the same thing what I said 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when this first came out. Maybe she didn't realize what she was saying as she was saying it, but just because you didn't come prepared with, all of your T's dotted and your I's dotted and your T's crossed, maybe you weren't preparing to come at Martin, but it's 2025, right? If you're going on a podcast or you're going on something viral and you're going on a show, you got to know that anything you say could be viral at any time. So if you're saying that, oh man, I don't really like how Marin was coming at Pam, you gotta know that wording is and could take flight. And you're indirectly, even though that's not your intention, you're indirectly saying that, we should maybe look back at our history. We should maybe look back as Black people and see how some of our heroes were treating Black women during these times. So, I don't like how she's coming back and being like, I have no ill intent. You got to know what you're saying when you go on these shows. You have a publicist, you get prepared when you say these things. When you go off the cuff, you got to be able to handle what is happening when you go and you talk on these shows. So no hate. I don't think it was your intention, but you got to stand 10 toes down, man. Stand on business. Our fourth quick story. The USC has announced a 7-year, $7.7 billion exclusive U.S. media rights deal with Paramount and CBS to eliminate the entire pay-per-view model. Crazy. Beginning 2026, all USC events will stream on Paramount Plus, with select events also shared on CBS. A monumental deal in sports history. This is huge. I don't even watch UFC, but I have a cousin of mine that watches every match, calls his boys over. They pay 50 or 60 bucks and they watch it. This is a monumental deal. And I always like talking about things like this because it's yet another example with the shift in media that I talked to you guys about with legacy media, the CNNs, the ABC, the NBC. You hear about Stephen Colbert's show going off the air. You hear about Gayle King, etc., etc. Paramount Plus, yes, owned by CBS, but this is a streaming platform. It's all about streaming. It's all about the web, and it's all about new forms of media and how these companies need to shift away from what was happening 20 or 30 years ago. So shout out to UFC, Dana White. Again, it's not really my forte, but I like to see moves like this. And it lets me know that I'm on the right track with the Trent Out Loud show on YouTube. Yo, we taking over. We taking over. I sang that song last week when I said the same thing about YouTube. So thought I'd do it again. We taking over. Shout out to YouTube. Our fifth quick story. A'ja Wilson becomes the first player in WNBA history to record 30-plus points and 20-plus rebounds in a game. A'ja Wilson made history as the only player in the NBA to do that, as she led the Aces to a 94-86 matchup. Her total stats was 32 points, 22 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals on a 52% field goal percentage, 13 on 25. Jeez, yo, shout out to A'ja Wilson, man. Y'all know I love the WNBA. I'm always going to back it. Shout out to A'ja Wilson. I think Angel Reese also did something too this weekend. She did something like she's leading the NBA or the WNBA in some stats. But anyways, shout out to the girls. Y'all doing your thing. I know you guys are in the middle of your contract negotiations. You definitely deserve all the money, all the rights, everything. The Trent Out Loud Show got your back. Our sixth quick story. Superman has become the highest grossing Superman film ever domestically. The new Superman movie has broken records, becoming the highest grossing standalone Superman film ever in the US and Canada. It's now outperforming every past entry in the franchise, from Christopher Reeve's classic to Man of Steel, earning $331 million domestically. It goes on to say some other things and records that it's broken. Now, I'm not putting this in here because I went to watch Superman. I haven't watched Superman since I was a kid. But I did hear some promotion of it, and I was like, who's going to go and watch Superman? Like, give me a break. Like, how many times are they going to redo it? Come to find out, it's the biggest Superman grossing ever in the history of the franchise. Are you guys not tired of the same remake and Superman and Superman and Superman and Batman? And like, how many takes are we going to do? Like, I want to see new ideas. I want to see new franchises being developed. Like, we got to think outside the box, people. But let me know if any of you guys watched Superman and if it really was that good. Our seventh quick story. Who is the greatest rapper turned actor? All right, for those who are not seeing this on video, there's LL Cool J, Ice Cube, Will Smith, 50 Cent, Tupac, and T.I.P. All right. Now, listen, shout out to all of these 6 men, great actors, great transition from music. And I would just like to note that it's not like any of these guys were in hip hop, like kind of like had 1 or 2 albums. Like these are all legends in their own right. Like, and I don't need to go down with the legend. I mean, yes, every one of them is legendary status in hip hop. Okay. Turned actor though, and all of them are really good actors. There's nobody that could compete with Will Smith in here. As much as I respect all of them, Ice Cube has done a lot of stuff in producing. Okay, you know, LL Cool J has done a lot of stuff on TV, not so much like movie wise. I know we're just talking about acting, but you know, 50 Cent has done a lot of stuff on streaming. Great. Tupac now, if he was still alive, like, I don't know, because if you watched a lot of his movies before his passing, like, Tupac was a really, really good actor. A lot of people don't recognize him for that. So, but unfortunately he couldn't, live out his career. And then we have T.I. But if you ask me, it's not even a conversation when we're talking about who's the greatest rapper turned actor. It's Will Smith. Our eighth quick story. SSSniperWolf speaks on Drake revealing she left him on Ried and curved him. Good Morning made headlines for leaving a rapper on Ried. Laugh out loud. This is so embarrassing. SSSniperWolf shares a message after Drake revealed he left her on Ried. She appeared unbothered by the attention, posting a short message to her followers that read, "Good morning, made headlines for leaving a rapper on Ried." Here is the post that she made, and here is Drake talking about it with Aiden Ross.
I was going to ask if it was you that made me DM Sniper Wolf that one time.
No.
Oh.
Wait.
That's right. What?
No, I don't.
Drake's like, oh, I wonder if it was you who made, like, Drake is trying to like deflect now and be like, oh, I didn't even want to DM her. What is happening to our guy Drizzy? Yo, like, what's going on, dude? There was a time where like Drake was like the coolest thing ever, and now like girls are like not even answering back his DMs. They're leaving him just on read and not even answering him. Like, that's Drake. Like, that's Drake. Jeez, man. Yesterday he's calling people daddy. Now he's getting girls' DMs and they're not even replying to him. What has happened to Drake? This is embarrassing, yo. Our 9th quick story. An Atlanta father is criticized for recreating an image with his daughter. All right, this is going pretty viral online. For those of you who are not seeing the video, I'll describe the picture to you. You can tell this is like an old school, like, I don't know, maybe like a 90s or 80s looks. Anyways, father has his daughter in his arms, in one arm, okay? And he's holding her up. I don't know, she's like, what, 2 years old maybe? And now they're recreating this. And she looks, I don't know, 20, 25 maybe. And he has to support her with 2 hands now because she's no longer 2. She's like 20. And she looks like she maybe weighs like a 130 to 140-ish. Now, I always try to see, the good in things, and I get what they're trying to do. The recreation. A lot of people were doing this a couple of months ago. It was a thing on TikTok of recreating old pictures new. Will Smith was doing it, etc. Look, I have a niece. I do not have a daughter, but I have a niece who I love very much, who I have so many adorable, cute baby pictures. I actually have one on my laptop where she's like, I'm holding her in my arms and she's like holding my face. It's the cutest thing ever. I would never think of redoing this image with my niece, much like never. I am so extra careful with my niece to never have anything subjective or anything that would just be thought about in the wrong way to her or to anybody. More importantly, to her, because I care about her. So I'm very, very extra careful with that. So I disagree with this picture because I, as a man, would not do that. But I just don't know if I agree with him being dragged the way he is. Like, we don't know, if there's more to it. I just think maybe it's distasteful and something that they don't need to do, but it doesn't mean that like he needs to be investigated. Like some people are like going to that extent, I just think it was in poor taste and he's not thinking straight. So while I disagree with it, I don't necessarily agree with the like, yo, call the cops. Like things are going crazy at the household, Anyways, weigh in. It's definitely questionable and for sure I wouldn't do it. Our 10th quick story. KFC tweeted this out actually just a couple of hours ago. They said, here, damn, they have a wedge. I cut off the caption. Anyways, they also tweeted out, they said, you asked a lot and we listened. Wedges are back. And they're literally being like, all right, seeing that you bothered us, like, here, damn. I actually love this kind of marketing. It's very, kind of like how your friend would talk to you. You know what I mean? Where 10 or 15 years ago, you would never seen a company as the size of KFC. They'd be like, KFC would like to officially announce that, Like, they're talking like us and acting like us. So shout out to KFC from a marketing standpoint. More importantly, why I wanted to talk about this is who asked for this? A lot of y'all really asked for wedges. I cannot stand wedges. I'm a French fry guy. I need shoestring French fries. I'm not the biggest McDonald's fan, although their sausage egg McMuffin is the best thing on a Friday if you're or Saturday if you're hungover. But other than that, they have the best French fries, and it's the skinny shoestring French fries. Those are only 2 things I could eat at McDonald's: the French fries, sausage egg McMuffin. And their McFlurry score is actually pretty good too. Are you guys excited for this wedge to come back? Really? A wedge. Our 11th quick story. Ayesha Howard reportedly asked Anthony Edwards for $500,000 and a public apology to affirm her integrity and role as a mother before she officially signs off on sole custody agreement of their daughter. All right, for those who've been following me for a while, y'all know I am all on Ayesha Howard's side. I don't care how outlandish the ask is. I think Anthony Edwards is so wrong in this. Y'all have a daughter together and you don't want to see or even acknowledge this little girl. Shame on you. Ayesha should try to take you for everything. So I got her back on this. All right, this is literally the longest effing in history. Anthony Edwards and Ayesha Howard are still going at it in court, and this time he is accusing her of making some crazy demands. According to documents obtained by US Weekly, Ayesha allegedly demanded $500,000 and a public apology from the NBA star in their court battle. If you can recall, Ayesha was granted sole custody of their daughter. Ayesha and Ant were supposedly to sign off on everything, but after further review, Ayesha said no. She noticed that there were some provisions that stated she couldn't talk about Ant publicly and couldn't post pictures of their child. Per the report, Anthony removed those provisions, but then Ayesha went and added her own. Ayesha demanded a public apology from him that was required to be posted on all his official social media platforms, publicly retracting all false and defamatory and misleading statements made about her during the court battle and affirming her integrity and her role as a mother for their daughter. In a statement to US Weekly, Ayesha said the money has nothing to do with the custody agreement. My request for compensation was never tied to agreeing to any custody order. I asked for compensation due to the subsequent financial and reputational damage I endured during the prolonged legislation with Anthony Edwards, she says. Will Alicia sign the custody agreement? Will Ant-Man create another baby before the year is over? Was Ayesha's reputation already ruined before this entanglement? Find out in the next episode of Ayesha and Edwards. Take him for all he's got. Our 12th quick story. This just in. The U.S. Supreme Court has formally been asked to overturn same-sex marriages. Former Kentucky clerk Kim Davis petitioned the Supreme Court in July 2025 to overturn the 2015 ruling legalizing same-sex marriages nationwide. The court will decide this fall whether to hear the case, though experts say it's a long shot given public support. All right, so there's been a lot of franticness online in the past hour since this came out. A bunch of people asked the Supreme Court for a bunch of things. So this is just an ask. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. But on the flip side, look at what happened with abortion. Look at what we heard in Project 2025. Look at what Trump is saying that he wants to do to New York and Chicago. I don't like to sound the alarm. I like to always be the content creator that's like, it's all right, guys, we got this. But just look at what I talked about today with Trump. This is scary. This is what Democrats warned would happen, and Trump is only in 6 months. He has 3.5 years left. Although they say it's not likely to happen, you never know. All right, this brings us to social discussion of the day. All right, before we get into that, I have a very important question for you guys. Is your computer, laptop, or cell phone vulnerable to data breaches? Well, let me answer that question for you. Yes, they are if you're not using Aura, the all-in-one digital security platform. Go to my sponsor below, aura.com/trendoutloud to get a free 14-day trial to see if any of your data, social security number, credit card has already been exposed. If you're ever wondering how scammers get your cell phone number or why your inbox is filled with spam, here is why. There are companies called data brokers, and they sell your data, and they do it without your consent, and they sell it for billions of dollars to marketers, scammers, and even stalkers. That's why I recommend today's sponsor, Aura, to my family, friends, and out louders. Aura takes care of the hard part for you, automatically removing your private information off of these sites and keeping it off. Aura gives you alerts if any of your personal information is ever found on the dark web. They give you real-time fraud alerts for credit card and banking information. They give you a secure VPN, antivirus, password manager, and they also have US-based round-the-clock customer service if anything ever does go wrong. Also, Aura also offers a $5 million identity theft insurance package if in the case something ever does go wrong, while they guarantee your protection. So it's ironclad. If you're ever wondering if your social security number, if any of your information has been breached, now's the time to find out. Aura is offering 14 days free. It actually is 100% free. I'll put up the QR code. It's 100% free for you to find out if any of your information has been leaked. They can take it off the web for you. All right. Okay, let's get into our social discussion of the day. Now, Joy Reid, formerly of MSNBC, posted this, I think it was yesterday, and she has helped this clip go viral. I now see it up on blogs. So just wanted to give Joy Reid her credit. Joy Reid posted and said, "I don't know who this lady is, but she completes me and I love her. That is all." So I wanted to show you guys who this is. First of all, their podcast is I've Had It Podcast. And the lady in question is Jennifer Welch, okay? I'm going to play the video for you in a second, but just want to show you the one blog it hit, Hollywood Unlocked. Former Bravo star Jennifer Welch says Trump voters should be banned from Mexican, Chinese, and Indian restaurants. Take a listen.
I've had it with white people that triple trumped, that have the nerve and the audacity to walk into a Mexican restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, an Indian restaurant. I really genuinely believe that if you triple trumped, then you are all about preserving the lack of culture in white America. I don't think you should be able to enjoy anything but Cracker Barrel. Get your fat asses over to Cracker Barrel. Quit watching NBA basketball. Quit watching sports that are dominated by African Americans. Quit going to Mexican restaurants. You want white culture? You go fucking live in it.
Okay, she goes on for a while with this, and she talks about black people and what makes indigenous people, Mexican people, et cetera, et cetera. That's actually like the fabric of America and what makes America great. And if you're a triple Trumper, meaning if you voted for him in 2016, 2020, and 2024, then you shouldn't enjoy the fruits of America's, labor. I don't know if that saying makes sense right now, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. And you shouldn't be going to eat any of these places. She even says you shouldn't watch the NBA because it's predominantly black players in there. You shouldn't watch anything ethnic. And you should just eat at Cracker Barrel. Don't go to any other restaurant. You should just eat at Cracker Barrel. Now, as she also talks about DEI. Now, as somebody who is a fan of DEI, of course, somebody who is a black man myself, somebody who is always in the fight for indigenous minorities, ethnicity, etc. I like the sound of it, but y'all know that I am super fair, and I don't think it's fair to classify somebody who voted for Donald Trump 3 times in that classification. And I'm right. Because if you want to say, hey, if you believe in all of Trump's ideals, or if you believe in some of his people's ideals, and you think that, America shouldn't have, these people here, and you want all of this up, then I would agree. But you can't say if you voted, because just because you voted for Trump doesn't mean you automatically agree with all of his ideals. And I think that's the problem I have when somebody says, oh, you voted for Trump, like I can't talk to you. When somebody says they voted for Trump, for me, I question what is the reason why. And if they're like, well, I don't agree with this, I don't agree with this, but for the one part of whatever it is that's going to benefit for them, whether it be tax or whether it be this or whatever their belief, vice versa. If somebody says they're Democrat, like, what is it that you believe? And, I'm not of the school of, like the lesser of two evils, like, Democrats have this and Republicans have this, and none of it speaks for me, so I'm not going to vote. I feel like, especially women and minorities, just 50, 60 years ago, you didn't have the right to vote. So I feel like you should always exercise your vote. And unfortunately, yes, sometimes you have to vote for somebody who you don't necessarily maybe even like as a person or like their ideals, but 30% of what they're saying, pertains to you, whereas the other party, nothing pertains to you. So sometimes you have to vote your interest. So that's the only reason why I don't agree with this statement. But I understand the greater thing is, or the greater message that she's trying to come across. And I just think she messed up by saying, if you're a 3-time Trumper. I think it's more, if you believe in white America and white ideals and you don't want any immigration here from any country, yeah, at that point, go to Cracker Barrel and no, don't watch the NBA and don't go to any of these things. So you can't be like, I just want a white America, but then be chilling in a Mexican restaurant. Yes, but voting, I don't think it's fair to shame somebody for who they voted for. Let me know what you guys think of today's social discussion of the day. All right, this brings us to question of the day. All right, this one is for my ladies out here. Okay, this girl put this on, I think it was on TikTok, and it's gone super viral, so I wanted to have you guys weigh in. Okay, there are 4 guys in a quadrant, 4 men in a quadrant, and they all have some good points and some bad points, and it's up to you to choose one of the 4, okay? You have Marcus, who is 28 years old. He's a fitness instructor. He has no kids, super caring, but terrible in bed. Deshaun, who's 29 years old, he also has no kids. He is a club owner, which means he's not at home. He's, out till 3 o'clock in the morning. He's super romantic, but he's jealous. Chris is 40 years old. He's a bank manager, so he's good with, you want to assume that he's good with money. He has a 9-to-5. He's a single dad, and in the picture, his children are there, so it seems as if, though, that he's a responsible father. He's a great cook, but he's controlling. And then Melvin is 42 years old. He has 1 kid. He did 10 years in prison. He's great in bed and owns a mechanic shop. So I guess the negative for Melvin is he just did 10 years in prison. I would like to know what he was in jail for, but I don't know. And I don't even know if I could really weigh in on this. Just because there's some bedroom stuff in there. Normally I'm mad enough to, I could get into a good looking conversation or body conversation. But when it comes to bed, that's when I have to I can't even identify with anything there as a woman. I don't know what y'all would want, man. I don't know. I don't know. Who wants somebody that's terrible in bed? I don't know. You know what I mean? As a man, that wouldn't bother me because I feel like a man should be a leader in bed. And if somebody's terrible in bed, I'll make them good in bed. But I don't know if a woman can make a man good in bed. I feel like if a man's bad in bed, it's just done with. You know what I mean? Then you got to live a life of just being terrible. But I don't know. Maybe for a woman, you don't care about that. I don't know, man. Definitely jealous. That's bad. I feel like Deshaun should be X'd. How about I'll just say what should be X'd? Because jealousy, that's not good. And then controlling, that's worse. I think they're actually both bad because somebody who's jealous, they're controlling too. So if you ask me, just Deshaun and Chris get X'd out, and I'll leave it to you guys to decide from what I X'd. Well, you guys can decide from all 4, but I would say between Marcus and Melvin. I don't know. It's up to you guys. But yeah, choose from all 4. Let me know in the comment section below who you're picking. All right, y'all, that is it. Thank you so much for kicking with me. Before I let you go, just want to remind you one more time to sign up for Aura. It is free. If you ever wondered if any of your information has ever been leaked, social security number, anything online, sign up for Aura now. It's a free 14-day trial. If any of you guys have never heard of Aura, they used to be the jersey badge for Minnesota Timberwolves. Here's a picture of Ann Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. They are reputable, best in the business. They're offering a free 14-day trial to see if any of your information has been leaked, and they can take it off the net for you. All right. You're welcome. Also, before I let you go, just want to remind you of all the ways to keep up with the Trend Out Loud show. If you are ever going, well, for my YouTubers, if you're ever going on a flight or you're going on a car ride, you don't have access to internet, and you don't want to miss a show, we're available on all podcast platforms, and you could download the show and take us with you. All right. Now, secondly, for those of you who are used to listening to this show or watching the show on podcast platforms, thank you so much for your downloads. However, we want you to come hang out with us over here on YouTube. This is where it's at. All the YouTubers, all the out louders hang out over here. The comment section is lit. All right. So come on over and check us out. Head on over to YouTube, type in Trend Out Loud. 4 things I'm going to need you to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Make sure you comment. Let me know where you're commenting from. If you don't want to join in on conversation, that's fine. Let me know where you're watching from. This is a global podcast, and I love to see the continent, countries, and cities where you guys are watching from. All right, so at least comment that. And lastly, if you're really enjoying the show, please try to share it with your family, friends, and loved ones. Helps in growing the channel. I appreciate y'all. Now, for those of you who want to follow me outside the show, I'm available on all social platforms, but I'm the most active on Instagram, but I always have the same handle. It's Trent Out Loud. And I also have a handle on Instagram called The Trent Out Loud Show, where we post some stories in the day before and after the show. It's just a way to keep up and let you guys know what we will be talking about. So you can follow us there too. All right. Have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trent Out Loud. Peace.